Imagine being told your only job is to keep the light on. Keep ships safe, follow the rules, don't fall asleep. Easy enough, right? But this is static dread. The Lighthouse, where every flick of the switch could invite madness, cultists, or something unspeakable from the sea. Developed by Solar Suit Games, this indie takes the simple premise of lighthouse duty and injects it with Lovecraftian paranoia. At first, you're calmly guiding ships by radio, scanning frequencies, faxing them safe courses like some nautical version of Papers, Please. But before long, the walls start bleeding symbols, villagers knock at your door with suspicious smiles, and the radio whispers things you're not sure you were meant to hear. The job becomes less about ships and more about survival of your sanity, your body, and maybe the whole coast. Shack News praised the way Static Dread mixes routine with creeping terror. The paperwork-esque duties escalate. You're cross-checking IDs, routing ships under shifting rules, and deciding whether to follow protocol or take deals from the voices in the static. Do you protect a fisherman from a mob that thinks he's cursed? Do you let in a crying woman who swears she's lost in the woods, even though every rule says never open the door? What makes it compelling is how rarely the right choice is clear until much later. The consequences creep back hours after you think you're safe. Koji Connected emphasized that tension between responsibility and the supernatural. You're isolated, cut off from family except for scratchy radio calls, and every day brings new horror reports. Ships returning empty, villagers whispering to sea gods, auroras that twist the sky. The game keeps you unsteady, daring you to bend or break rules just to survive the night. The result is less jump scare, more gnawing dread. But not everyone was impressed. CG Magazine called it a mix of Papers, Please, and Five Nights at Freddy's that doesn't fully deliver the fear. For all its talk of cosmic horror, the scares often amount to red glyphs appearing on the walls and loud stingers on the soundtrack. Worse, the game tips its hand too early. Having an actual eldritch voice on the radio bark demands at you robs the story of its ambiguity. And while the mechanics of keeping awake, eating, and managing sanity sound tense on paper, in practice, they sometimes feel like chores. That said, even the harsher reviews admitted there's real charm in the details. Scanning static for signals produces eerie snippets, panic crews, cultists promising salvation, or nonsense transmissions that feel pulled from some lost number station tape. The visitors to your door, drawn in warped cartoonish style, are both comical and unsettling, their motives hard to read. And the PSX-inspired visuals, crooked doors, twisted halls, unnatural auroras, sell the feeling of a world slightly out of alignment. Where reviewers split hardest is on pacing. Shack News loved its compact, 10-hour length, calling it perfectly unsettling without overstaying. CG Magazine found it repetitive, complaining that tasks eventually feel more like busy work than dread. And Saw Connected argued that the moral choices carry the weight, even if the gameplay loop doesn't always. So what's the verdict? At Veteran Game, we see Static Dread. The Lighthouse as a bold swing that lands somewhere between brilliant and frustrating. It nails atmosphere, sells the loneliness of keeping the light burning against impossible odds, and gives you decisions that will sit in your stomach long after. But it doesn't always scare the way it should, and its systems sometimes work against the tension it's trying to build. It's a game of atmosphere first, horror second. If you loved Papers, Please, and want that same, damned if you do, damned if you don't, moral grind with a cosmic horror twist, this is your jam. If you're chasing pure fear, you might walk away wishing it leaned harder into survival horror instead of Lighthouse admin. Either way, it's an experience worth talking about. And if you're into deep dive, no BS reviews like this, make sure you hit subscribe. Veteran Game is all about peeling back the layers, whether they're bureaucratic, cosmic, or just plain weird. But here's the real question for you. Does true horror come from the monsters outside the lighthouse or from the choices you make inside it? Drop your answer in the comments. I'll be waiting by the radio.